Hello, Murray Newlands with Your Story here in San Francisco with John Schwartz, USA Today Bureau Chief, San Francisco.
Hi, how are you?
Very good. How are you?
Good.
Thank you for being on the show.
It's my pleasure to be on your show.
So, you run...
we run a bunch of people. So we run all of tech. So between myself and Nancy Blair, we have about 20 people, full-time and part-time, and freelance around the country. For us, it's all about getting the content up online as soon as possible. The print product is almost secondary. And I would almost say is there such a word as thirdary, or it's not the highest priority. It's the last priority.
Interesting. And so what do you see the future of media as?
Well, it's more about online. It's more about writing about breaking news. It's about this. You write a story as quickly as you humanly can and get 4 paragraphs or 4 paragraphs up on the website. So yesterday, for instance, HP announces prematurely, as it turns out, that they're going to lay off 11,000 to 16,000 people on top of everyone else they've already announced they're going to lay off. So my first priority is to get that story up online as soon as possible, run alerts, and then add to the story. So there are probably, in the end, 10 versions of that story. The first quick and dirty version, then I add comments, including an interview with Meg Whitman. When it's all said and done, I ship the story over to Nancy, who then edits it for the print version, which is the final version. Print is like the last thing on our minds now. Even though the majority of our revenue comes from there, 5 times the audience is online now. So we're thinking about the flow of news as fast as possible, because if we do that, we get the traffic. If we don't, we lose out to our competitors. Here's the other thing, too, and I know your other people talked about this. As soon as you write the story, you're thinking promotion. So you're promoting it on social media as much as you can on Facebook, Twitter, what have you, just to let people know that you've written the story. And you'd be surprised how many other reporters will retweet what you just wrote, including your competitors.
So you catch the instant gratification, instant need for content that everyone has.
Right.
Writing the shortest story, get it up.
Right. So I actually wrote a 2-paragraph story. Basically, HP says it's going to lay off 11,000 to 16,000 more employees because its revenue didn't grow as quickly as they anticipated. And then I threw in what the revenue figure was. That's the story. Before, I would have spent 45 minutes, maybe an hour, kind of crafting something. Now I'm getting calls and email from multiple people back east saying, when is this alert going out? They basically want the story online as soon as possible. When we say story, we're talking like something like 50 words or less.
Wow.
That's the new journalism, and we really don't have a choice. The first thing I did, actually, when I heard about this news is I tweeted it. And as soon as I tweeted it, I had somebody at the New York Times retweet it immediately. This guy has a huge following, it's Farhad. He tweeted it as soon as possible, and then I had other reporters doing that. And then once that happened, my next goal was to just bang something out as soon as possible, and then reference that in Twitter and say, here's the story, the first version of the story, the first version of multiple versions.
If you're trying to get things out at that pace, are you worried about there's
making a mistake? There's no safety. There's no safety net. So when I initially saw the headline, I thought it said they were going to lay off 16,000, but it was actually a range of 11,000 to 16,000, which is a little bit of it's a nuance, right? They're probably going to go to 16,000, but it's important to mention the range. So when I first see it, my thought is they're going to lay off up to 16,000, which is true, but it's not the range. So I went into the story and said, okay, I have to step back for a second, take a deep breath, make sure this is absolutely right, because you're right. Writing a headline in haste results in missing letters. You write stories with missing words, and you back read them as soon as you publish them. So you publish them as soon as possible, and then you go back into them and just clean up anything that might be wrong. And that happens a lot, actually. It happens quite a bit, actually, in tech journalism.
And